Hi, guys, and welcome to Keep Hope Alive podcast. Boy, do we have a show for you. We got Andrea Mason with us today, your global voice. And she's a motivational speaker, and she's worked in the mental health area and professional development in that. And before we go diving into the rest that she does, because she has a laundry list of all these specialties, welcome, first of all.
Thank you.
And I'm going to jump in really quick and just ask you one simple question. In the
Okay.
past 15 years, how many weddings have you been to?
It's a good question. I would probably say 15 years, probably about 12. Almost
Wow.
12. Yeah. We had a big year in 2015 and 14. All of my younger cousins decided that they were of age and we've been to a few. So yes, it's
That is so
exciting.
cool.
Yes.
Yes. So this next question, I usually say, I'm not going to say anything, but you should be a pro at this one. So when you're going in for the ceremony as a guest, usually, to the right on a table, there's something to fill out. What is that thing?
Pardon me, when you go into the ceremony, there's something
Ceremony, usually there's something to sign. What is that called?
place setting, I believe, if that's what you're
Okay.
called about it. If not, if it's the ceremony, it would be a favor.
A favor?
Yes.
Close. So
Okay.
usually they'll come in and sign a guest book for the couples
Okay.
to see that they were there. So one of
Okay.
our biggest, no, well, I'm not going to make you feel bad. I had
No, it's
somebody
okay.
say marriage license, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then another person has said their life away, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh, that's
wow.
even better.
Yeah,
So
usually
you,
they do that well, the ones that I've been to at the reception, not at the ceremony. I'm thinking
oh,
ceremony church. That's what
yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so I know some of the now if they're getting married in the reception or outdoors, usually outdoors I haven't seen the guest book at all.
Right.
So it's more like indoors. So I give you that. Yeah, definitely. I give you that, girl. I'm there.
Yes, because when
I've
when I
been,
think of ceremony, I think of when they do their vows or when they do their, ceremonial,
yes.
uh, you know, formality of the wedding ceremony as opposed to the reception. Because right there is the reception, you got the gift box, you got the bird cage, or whatever your fancy,
Yes.
and then right there is the guest book as soon as you walk into the reception. So pardon me.
Yes, yes. Well, that's right too. So I've seen it both ways, and I always say the ceremony part. I don't know why, but yeah, you're right. They can use it for the reception area too. So,
Yes.
well, instead of the guest book, lifeonrecord.com is one of our sponsors here, and they do a vintage rotary phone that your guests can
Wow.
walk in, pick up, leave a message, and say, congratulations. Or, maybe you'll have somebody go, it's about time you put a ring on her finger. Congratulations, dude. Whatever
That's
you
awesome.
you leave as a message. And I call it the gift of voice. Hearing
Yes.
your friends and family talking on this, it's great.
That's awesome.
So they also have a QR code right next to the phone in case somebody was like, you know what, I'll just do it on my own cell phone. So
Wow.
it picks it up and you can leave a message for the couple, yeah, before or after the event.
Mhm.
So not only weddings, this is good for family reunions, corporate
Oh,
events. I got to
yes.
say funerals too. I mean,
Mhm.
there is so much you can do that with life on record. So after they collect all the voices,
Mm.
what they will do is either burn it on a 12-inch vinyl record, or they have a keepsake speaker that you can get. I call it a little boom box.
Oh my goodness,
And their
that's
plans
awesome.
only start at $99. It's a toll-free number. you get this number for 1 year, which is amazing. You don't get
That
to
is
keep the
awesome.
phone though. You get to
Aw.
keep the number. You
Right,
get to
right.
return the phone back. But definitely, I mean, when you're celebrating that 1 year anniversary,
Mhm.
maybe you save the top of the cake to eat that. I know for me, I never brought out my guest book and just read names.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'll have flashbacks of who was there at the wedding and, oh, I
Right.
remember when so and so came. But hearing their voice, I mean, if you were the guest, I would make it a fun like message.
Yes, that is awesome because we were looking at some footage of family members of weddings from years ago, and where you would pass the mic around and everybody would do a video, had the big camera and then everybody would leave a message. But that is awesome. Yeah, definitely. I definitely would love to check that out for any milestone because it's just like a photograph. you
It
know
is.
the
It
and
is.
it's a little bit better than a photograph because you have the essence and the spirit of the individual voice thereafter.
Yes, you
So that's
do. I
awesome.
mean, my son's in football, and one of the kids broke his leg, and the growth plate broke. So,
Ooh.
so we had the team call in and leave messages for him, and they
Oh,
get sent over, and you get to hear the voice. We hope you feel better. And I was like, it gives me
oh,
chills
oh
just thinking about
yes,
it. I
absolutely.
loved having that option to
Yes,
give everybody. So, but to
excellent.
find out more information, you can go to their website at www.lifeonrecord.com.
Awesome, excellent.
Oh, let's dive in. Andrea, let's see, who are you?
Where to begin? Everybody asks that question and they want to bring up the highlights of their life or the somber points of their life. And I start off by saying, when we are younger, our story is told to us. But at one point, and at what point do you take the pen in your own hand? And that's the journey that I embarked upon. So, a little bit about me. I was born during the cartel in Colombia, South America, and I came to the promised land of unconditional love, of loving arms of my American parents at 11 pounds, 11 months old. And it has been a rocky road since, Nadine, of ups and downs, trials and tribulations and triumphs. And basically, what in a nutshell is, who is Andrea Mason? Well, she is a woman of authenticity and integrity who has built and created her own identity through life's adversities.
Well, look at that. I love that
Yes.
answer. For me, I couldn't say all that, but I love that answer reply. So,
Thank you.
going through, I mean, when you say you are part of yeah, it's your global voice.
Yeah.
What is that?
So when I decided to go on in front of the camera and no longer live behind the scenes of the mental health industries of social work and psychology for over 2 decades, I embarked in finding my voice. I was at the pinnacle of my career in a holistic motivational wellness center, and then the world changed in 2020. And I heard on the sound waves talking about voice, the legendary Les Brown. And he said, are you going through it or are you growing through it? Well, that was the turning point of my life that I decided I was going to take my story and share it with the world. And to fast
Um,
forward only a few moments after connecting with Les Brown, being an alumna in his academy and working next to him as kindred spirits, as fellow adoptees, I embarked on an international TV radio show in Africa, and it was called The Global Voice. And that's where it all began. I decided to turn
yeah.
my pains and gains and be vulnerable and transparent and take my darkness to lighten somebody else's life to know that they're not the only ones going through what they're going through.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's like me saying with keep hope alive, being
Mhm.
heard,
Yes.
because everybody's stories can help somebody else out there in the world, which is
Absolutely.
good. So, I know you do motivational speaking. Are you usually being sent to corporate offices or like churches or?
Well, it's a myriad of things. I tailor my situations and speeches to the audience. I have spoken at corporations at the Latino World Travel Fest in New York City. I also had spoken to my alma mater, as well as to aspiring writers, authors, and visionaries. I was able to go
Mm.
to the highlights pavilion, those magazines you see in the doctor's office. I was able to
Yep.
go to the hub there and speak. And it's such a beautiful thing, Nadine, because you can find yourself in someone's story somewhere. And it's just a matter of which page or which chapter in life you're at.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I learn something like new all the time,
Yes.
about, I thought I knew somebody, here's an example. I went out for lunch to do
Mhm.
a pre-screen thing today, and I learned a whole lot
Yeah.
so from them. And it was like the last time I saw this person, I was like maybe 12, 13, or even 14 years
Wow.
old. And I'm 46 now, and I'm just like, oh, but it's those little things when we go through everything. It's
Mhm.
just really neat to get caught up in that. So, and meet people. Um, so mental health, you were
Yes.
really diving into that. Um,
Mhm.
can you tell me anything about what parts of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really took a deep dive in mental health because, like I mentioned, I was Colombian of Latina descent and I was raised in an American family.
Hmm.
So, because I looked different, because I spoke different, had a little bit different characteristics than my fellow peers, I was bullied. I was abused. I was, I'll never forget the kickoff when my parents had told me, "You're our treasure, you're adopted," and gave me a book and shared the story. And when I shared it with my friends, they were just like, "Oh, your parents didn't love you. They didn't want you." And I never thought of it that way because it was
Yeah.
perceived in a different light. And so when that got around, then they saw my Achilles heel of being, very emotional, very sentimental, very empathetic towards others. And they took advantage of that. So I would get thrown into lockers, thrown into trash cans, part of me shoved into lockers. I would have to eat my lunch in the bathroom stalls just to avoid the jokes and pointing fingers. So when I confided in someone to kind of speak about this, they
Hmm.
said, well, maybe you're just seeking attention. That was it. That was it. I wasn't prepared to hear
Yeah.
that. I was pouring my heart out. And so then I decided I was going to be the face of change of mental health. That's
Yeah.
as my coach Les Brown says, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that's what I did.
Yes.
I went
Yep.
into social work and psychology, social work to understand the cultural diversities of the world, the cultures, the lifestyles, the wisdom, the traditions, the beliefs, and the creeds. Marry that with psychology of the brain, why we do what we do and why we don't do what we do. And that really molded what I feel was a huge transformational journey because not only was I able to do it therapeutically, medically, as well as interpersonal connections, but as the world shifted and having graciously spoken on every continent,
Good.
everybody's the same. They just want to be respected, unconditionally loved, and heard. And so
Yep.
that was my mission.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. And just being over these, they're thinking, me and my friend, we used to talk for
Mhm.
5 years, whether it was health or relationships or jobs. We
Mhm.
just wanted to be heard, like,
Yes,
period. I mean,
absolutely.
so when I've had to stand up and advocate for myself
Mhm.
a little bit more for doctors' offices. I was like, and I've started writing, journaling day by day and be like, these are my symptoms. Here's my diary of every day of what I've been feeling, if they even want to read it. But
Right.
I get the response now, like, I'm glad you journaled this. They may
Yeah.
glance it over and be like, oh, she's at a 10 almost every single day in pain.
Right.
But, when you're documenting it and going forward and can advocate also, that's a good
Mhm.
thing. So,
Yes.
So
And
you're probably teaching that and everything. So you have your degrees for
mhm,
social work
and
also
psychology. Yes,
and psychology. Yes.
correct. Yes.
So what kind of like social work were you in?
So it started out with working with individuals who were middle to high functioning, in the spectrum of schizophrenia, borderline personality, depression, multiple personality disorders, and so forth. And it would be just on the hospital grounds. Then
Gotcha.
then I elevated to go to the streets. Then I elevated to go to orphanages or shelters. Then it escalated to the geriatric units on the hospital floors as well as the institutions. Then it went to jails. So and also part of me in the jurisdiction of advocating, as you said, for them in the court system, in the legal department. And it was just in the beginning, it was interesting.
Hmm.
Then it got, I wouldn't say fear because I understood them. My companies were very fearful because of my stature, being a woman, being a minority, going into these, places by myself. Back then they did have cell phones, but you're lucky if you had a signal.
Yep.
And it's not, in social work and psychology, you don't really have the backup of police unless it's urgent. So I'd never really had the fear factor. It was I would say, interest. I always wanted to know more. I always wanted to question. I always wanted to have a better understanding. And as I was able to do that, I was the one that was always on call or to respond because they wanted to speak with me. I didn't see them as a rap sheet. I didn't see them as a diagnosis.
Hmm.
I didn't see them as a statistic. I didn't see them as a menace to society. But I really got a better understanding, Nadine, of the individual. This was somebody's family member who was misunderstood, wrong place, wrong time, or just didn't
Yeah.
have the right state of mind to make the right choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hear you on that. And kudos for you, diving into what they're really going to. And I like how you said it, learning that
Yes.
person, that's
Yes.
so important and everything. So, um, you know, when you are out speaking, there was something in your bio. I want to know about the kings and queens.
Yes. So it was a couple of, I wanted to say the middle of last year, if not the year before. I had this premonition that I wanted to, because I understood a lot of my following was villagers, up and coming developing countries, middle class, a socioeconomic class that didn't have resources or weren't heard. And I said, well, what can I do with this? And
Hmm.
I just had the mind and thought in my mind. I said, bringing the world together with Andrea Mason. What does that mean? Let me bring the pillars of the community, villages, and the dignitaries in their countries and continents who make major strides, who have the capability and leadership to make changes, and bring them together to unite with my audience. And it just stemmed from there. We just had our fifth segment this week on Tuesday, and it was just absolutely amazing. Kings and queens from Africa, from Asia, elite, government officials, as well as, philosoph- philosophers, excuse me, as
Okay.
well as activists. These are individuals with their hands actually making differences in the world or having the ability to, but
Yeah.
really doesn't hear or have the access to the community. And so I started that in September, and it's just been amazing ever since. I've had doctors, kings, queens, ambassadors, individuals who are making great strides, even some people who are younger
Yeah.
in up and coming, stages of having global impact.
Well, that's amazing. That's really good. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
So, from there, what what made you want to go into writing a book? Because I know you have a new book
Yes.
out there. So tell us
Yes.
about that too.
Yes. So it started when I was having a conversation with some people in the industry, and Les was, the spearhead of this. And one of my mentors said, "You're a powerhouse." He said, "You've got this knowledge, but why not write it down? Why not share it? Why not have something tactile and physical that people can possess and either pass on, write notes on, or pass it forward?" And
Mhm.
I decided, well, all right, well, I'm not really comfortable doing it, but I knew it was something that had to be done. So that's what birthed Victim to Victorious. This is my mother right here on the cover, and then my parents on the back cover. And
Aw.
basically, Nadine, it's a walk through my life. And the beginning is a tool and a step and a guide of the path less traveled on how to transform your life. So I'm the CEO and founder of Press Play, Plan Life According to You, LLC. And growing
Okay.
up, some of my tactics to escape the bullying and escape having to work 10 times harder academically to avoid distractions and frustration and sadness was being an athlete of soccer, as well as a performer, as an artist, as a piano player. So I always loved to play. And then I came up with the acronym Plan Life According to You.
Yeah.
You write your own story, and you are the only one that is able to make that choice. And at any stage, and the beauty of it, at any age, you can make a choice and change your channel. And so this book tailor made personal experiences, lessons, as well as tools that anybody can apply at any age, at any stage of their life. And what the
Good. I
beauty
was
of it
yeah.
is that Les Brown had done the forward to it. So I'm truly humble, honored, and grateful. And
Yay.
him and Lauren Hudson, who is a Global Award winner, um, producer and writer,
Yeah.
she also helped launch the book. That is,
Yay.
so yes,
That is amazing. You have
thank
all
you.
those people helping and pulling through for you. And
Yes.
I want to write a book, but I just don't know when. So
You know what those journals and those logs are? You already have your book, my dear, thus far. All you
well,
have to
I had
do is put it into bullet points and just tailor it a little bit. But think about when you pull out that journal, you pull out that excerpt or that emotion.
yeah,
Always know that there's somebody on the other side of the world or on the other side of the street yearning to figure out how to get through it. And
yeah,
what I said last year is anything you've gone through gives you the certification and permission and opportunity to help others achieve it too.
yep. That is very true. That's very true. One topic I really wanted to get into on this podcast you just
Yes.
mentioned. So I want to talk a little bit more about that bullying.
Yes.
I was so surprised when we got bullied and our time, for school, it was just like passing notes and blah, 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 blah. But in
Right.
today's world, it's all social media
Yes.
and boom. And
Mhm.
I remember I was at a birthday party, it was a bowling alley, and this girl, another girl, she used Instagram and it hurt me. It hurt me so bad. And my
Right.
heart stopped. Like,
Mm.
oh my goodness. I wish there was something more that we could do in this world to stop bullying and using social media to do it.
Well, you know what really boggles my mind, just like any tool, anything in the world, it's how you use it. It could be a tool or a treasure. Technology for us, has connected you and I with people on the other side of the world in arm's
Yep.
length. However, if it's in the hands of somebody who has an unbalanced mindset that's not clear, not positive, it can be very detrimental. I remember going in front of the camera because, like I said, most of my life I was behind the scenes working and helping others. Now to be front and vocal it's really against my grain. You know, I was the jokingly CIA agent of FBI agent of my entire family, friends, and everything. They knew nothing
Mm.
about me, you know.
Yeah.
And so when I made that pivot, I realized, you know, it started off, people would give you a thumbs up, people would give you a heart, or somebody would say something. And what's difficult in this day and age, Nadine, is that when we type something, we don't know the emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Just thinking of it's just like tonality. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? It's the
Yeah.
emphasis on the words, but you don't get that emphasis in the text. Sure, you can have an emoji, but everybody's interpretation and perspective is another's perspective. And so, what I encourage individuals when I coach or speak, I say, you know what? We are so influenced, monopolized, programmed, whatever you want to call it, to focus on the negative. So, for example, if you have 55 likes, thumbs up, whatever platform you're on, and you have that one or two no's, where does your focus automatically go? To the negative. And I
Yeah.
say, well, then why are you forgetting all the 55 that supported you and did not tear you down? And we have to rewire our mindset. We have to adjust that reel that was playing in our head of the naysayers, non-believers, and doubters.
Yeah.
And I say, first, follow your heart, not the herd nor the hurt. Success and happiness are always on the other side. And
Very
secondly,
true.
be mindful of the source. Is it intentional? Is it for attention? Or is it to retain information? And how you perceive it is what the greats say: energy flows where focus goes. So be mindful of your thoughts.
Oh, I
Thoughts are
like that.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to take that tagline. I like that.
Yes.
So, I mean, some of the people who actually know me, what you're saying, I try to stay away from anything negative in this world. And
Mhm.
sorry, news, that's you. Now,
Yes.
if it's really, really important, I'm sure it'll come across my phone or something. I can read it there, or
You
somebody's
sound
going to text.
exactly like me. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So my mom and my dad are big watchers of the news, Fox
Mm-hmm.
News, everything. Oh, did you just see what? No, and I'm glad I didn't see it.
Yes.
I just feel like, our senior citizens now, I mean, they just
Yeah.
could be just watching. I pick up a good book, read it,
Right.
do something else by having that. But, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Been trying to hide it for so long. I'm not going to say which one, but I was on a TV show,
Mm-hmm.
and they, the person actually posted it last year or the year before. Yeah, maybe 2 years ago, onto the social media
Mm-hmm.
and platform. It took a while for them to do it, but it was thousands,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of people writing
Yes.
in, and I was reading, but I only was focusing if there was a negative talk. That's
Mm-hmm.
where my brain got drawn to. And I remember I had tears coming out of my eyes going, no, I'm not going to read this anymore. I don't
Right.
know. They don't know me. They don't know the situation. And
Exactly.
I didn't want to read all the bad BS stuff.
Right.
So,
It's actually a chemical, if not psychosomatic, connection, reaction that you have, because it could either bring you back to your past. And if you have not faced your past will continue to chase you.
yep,
And one of the key things that I've learned upon my journey is forgiveness.
yep,
Achieve personal freedom through the healing power of forgiveness. Now, people say, well, Andrea, how do you forgive your family member who spits in your face all the time with negativity, toxicity, anger, frustration? How do you forgive someone who's cheated on you? How do you forgive someone who has done you wrong? Well, you know what? Again, it's a reflection of them, not of you. But as I
hmm
mentioned earlier on, Les teaches this: do not give people power over you or permission to have power of you. Yes, it's easier said than done.
yep,
I know many viewers out there right now watching and saying, well, Andrea, I live with my predator. Ever since 2020, when the world changed, we're all home under the same roof. How do I deal? Well, number one, allow yourself to feel
Yeah.
anger, frustration, toxicity. I'll get the emotions out, whether it's on a nature hike, screaming in a pillow, going to the gym, or, you know, having a self-care for day for yourself.
Exactly.
We
The
don't
self-care
take
day. Yeah.
time. We're
Hmm.
constantly our own worst critic and we pour from empty vessels. I've done it before. I do it every
Yeah.
now and then because that's what society's teaching us. If we don't take care of others and we take care of ourselves first, we're selfish. Well, I'd rather be selfish and be 100% at my best health than
Yeah.
helping from others and being on the 1% of health in any realm, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, whatever it may be, on the other end. I learned a long time ago, don't say yes to others if it means saying no to yourself first.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that statement. And taking the time, I call mine mommy day out, not even a full day, night.
Right,
I
right.
might leave at 5 and come home before midnight. And, I've
Yeah.
gotten to do what my hobby is singing. So karaoke,
Oh,
and
wow.
then I'm just trying to change it up right now and do the things I used to do,
Yeah.
whether it was like going to the melting pot. I know I like the dessert because it's
The
chocolate, of
fondue.
course,
Yes, the
with the
fondue is
fruits.
amazing.
I know. And I just like, I have to have that time because in life it becomes a routine, you
Yes.
know? So
Habitual
I have
rituals.
I have kids,
Yes.
my oldest is 21 and she is out in the world. So
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
but she's pregnant, so I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay, I gotta
congratulations.
be here. I'm gonna go
Yes.
through with her on this journey." So, but then, on top of that, it's just the routine. Like, I might as
Yes.
wake up, take my son to school, get through the day. He may have football practice, or we may be going to church. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
Right.
But like mentally, I need time. I
Right.
want to have a little bit of you know, so I look forward to the days, and usually it's
Yeah.
like a Friday. Oh, is it almost Friday? Friday night, I get to go out. Yay!
Right. Yes. And that's what we
So,
have to be mindful of. We have to have balance. And we
yeah.
have to, as women especially, we're always taking care of someone else, you know?
Yes, we
And when you
are.
go back to talking a few moments back about being unplugged, I'm the same way. I know if something's disastrous, I know as soon as I get that family evening calls, they're going to call me and let me know. So I'm good for right now. Right now, I
Yeah.
have to focus on the four walls of where I live right now to make sure everything's in place. I'm taken care of because, you know, I had a experience of that closing date. My mom
Yeah.
passed in 2007, and it really hit me. But as women, all right, don't worry about it. I got to keep going. I got to go to work. Got to take care of the family. Blah blah blah. Almost 10 years, just shy of 10 years after, I ended up in the hospital, and I was on the ICU unit, and I didn't understand what's going on. No use of my limbs. I was unable to breathe for over a week. And it didn't realize until I took that personal inventory assessment that I just dismissed my feelings. I dismissed
Yeah.
myself, and my primary focus was grief and going to that gravesite for 2 consecutive years every single day. And
Yeah.
it was harmful rather than helpful. And so
Exactly.
take care of yourself. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Talk to that 7-year-old picture and say, you deserve the best. And I'm going to give it to
Yeah.
you, you know?
See, and deserving the best, knowing your worth is important.
Yeah.
So even like in relationship status,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I've been hurt in the past a lot.
Hmm. Right.
And I'm just like, that I had to explain to the guy I like a lot now. I go, I just am still going and healing from some things.
Yes.
And he's very patient with me. So, but you need that because if you will have things and worryment and things that are lingering and still bothering you, it can cause health problems. Imagine
Yes.
that. But
Absolutely.
once you
Yes.
work on that,
Hmm.
as simple as like, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was doing a podcast and I was talking about the best time I had meditation.
Hmm.
And it was a place out in the colony. And I was out there today and I was like, I'm going to stop by.
Hmm.
But due to COVID, their things have all changed.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow. But, going back to something that brought me joy and happiness, and
Right.
now, you know, it's like, oh, I'm going to have to find a new place. But, still having those memories were just wonderful. So, yeah,
And
but
nature
I
helps a
mean,
lot. Nature helps a lot as well.
nature does.
You know,
Yeah.
going to a brook of water, a lake, or an ocean, the sounds, just
Ocean.
being the essence of it, definitely is soothing and healing. And, even like you said, unplugging and really tapping into yourself. What do I need to improve as far as investments? I'm not talking financial solely. I'm talking about the foods you eat, the company you keep, the activities that you do, and that
Yeah.
gratitude attitude mindset in the beginning, the
Yeah.
bookends of the day.
That is, yeah. That's funny you said that. I was on the
Yeah.
phone today and I go, I just need the beach. I'm going to the beach
Yes.
this year because I didn't go last year. And
Right,
I
right.
was like, and I told him the reason why.
Hmm.
And I was like, it's just the sound of the waves. It's not
Yes.
being in there, but just the sound. I can
Right,
breathe. I can just sit there and the sun and just relax. And,
right.
I started thinking about it. Unfortunately, I'm out of work right now and I'm trying to get life situated. And what do
Right,
I have to do? Where am I going to be in the next couple months? And is this going to go? Can I still take that vacation? But
right,
if it was on a weekend, yes, I can still take it,
right,
probably have a personal day or something, but I'm not going to let it go down, and I
right.
bought a
No,
piggy bank
absolutely.
for
Yeah.
Christmas and it's like my
Aw.
adventure fund. There's 10
Awesome.
cents in there.
Awesome. Great. That's
I'm so
awesome.
excited. I can get so much on 10 cents.
Hey,
But
hey,
yeah,
it's a
so
start. You got to start. That's where most people quit, is the start.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I tell people in the podcast this because you know what? It's a goal. And I'm
Hmm.
hoping by June or July I can get down there to the beach again.
Oh,
So
believe it. Believe it.
I know, I
Definitely.
know.
Yes.
So, but definitely, I mean, do you even have a podcast out? Because I think you need to.
Yes, no, I do. I'm on season 3 and it's called Unleashing the Champion Within. And I spotlight individuals based on their Unleashing the Champion Within moment. And a lot of people say, well, Andrea, come on, I'm not an athlete. I haven't won any medals. Well, if you're living, that's a reward in itself. You've
It
overcome
is.
something, you achieved something, you're still here, you still have work to do. So
Yeah,
that's the mission of my podcast. Yes.
that is so cool.
And
And
it's available on Spotify. So yes.
yay. Yeah. It's like, I always say wherever your podcast is listed, Apple, Spotify, I'm on Audible, Amazon Music, it's just iTunes, Heart Radio. It's all that, and it's just great. I
Yes.
love using Linktree. I don't know if
Yes.
you are on.
Yes, I have it. Yes, I love it. I learned it about the middle of last year. It's awesome. It's great.
Now, this little thing I saw on Facebook and I love
Yes.
it, but I usually don't wear around black jewelry.
Oh
So,
wow.
but it's a business card. I
That's
can take this
oh
to the
wow.
phone. Yeah.
Well, that's
And I think
cool.
the company was called two, just something like that. But
Mhm.
you tap it and it pulls up like all my
Oh yeah, I
socials
have
so
that.
they
Well,
can
I have
find.
that on my phone. It's called the Dot, and it's your whole business card, a digitalized dot. Literally, it's a
Yes.
sticky that goes on the back of your phone or whatever, and it's a digital business card. So it's been very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So that and
Yes.
Blink, I think that's what it was called, Blink with a Q. I have that where they can scan their phone
Yeah,
and everything, but it's,
it's
important.
awesome. No,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so I look at this world, either you're the podcast host or somebody who wants to be a guest,
Right.
and you combine those
Yes,
efforts. So
absolutely.
definitely.
So I welcome
So
you
I
on mine. We will definitely connect. Absolutely.
Yay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely want to get more. So I think I've done one so far, and
Wow.
I just tell
Don't
people,
worry.
yeah.
You'll be on more. I'll help you. Absolutely.
And so yeah, definitely getting the word out and everything. And
Yes.
um, but yeah, I mean, just being a global speaker and talking
Yes.
to people and helping people, I did see something on your website.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of ask you about each one because
All
I
right.
thought it was really good, but you have it divided in three: the
Yes.
objective, the opportunity,
Yes.
and the commitment. So
Right.
I just want you to explain that portion of your website because I think a lot of people would want to hear that.
Absolutely. So when I decided to do the website, I was just like, okay, let me keep it simple. Let me keep it, you know, ex, you know, so people can understand. So what the objective component of the website is, it talks about, what I do, what I aim to do. I really focus and hone in onto the individual at hand. And I don't dictate, I don't lecture, I walk beside. So I take your values, your gifts, skills, and talents that you have already embedded in you, and then I
Yep.
illuminate them, I make them shine. And what is awesome about it is that I learn what your areas of improvement are as well as your strengths. Because how many times do you ask somebody especially in the coaching arena, well, what are your areas of strength or what are your areas of improvement? Because they use all different terminology. I'm all
Yeah.
about words are wisdom or weapons. So I'm very
Yeah.
particular with my words. And in doing so, not only do I spotlight your strengths, but then I also empower you to say, well, let's get to the root cause of what your areas of improvement are. And how will I be able to encourage you in your learning ability, your communication skills, as well
Yeah.
as the style of learning that you achieve? So that's the objective component. Now, did you want me to continue with the other two?
Oh yeah. I know. Just
So,
let you go at this.
so
I'm
yeah.
fascinated.
So the opportunity, what I see is that it's a connection between two individuals. I'm not here to say I'm better or worse than you. I'm here to walk beside you and parallel in our journey. This is the path
Hmm.
less traveled. You're going against the grain, really taking a deep dive into understanding your self awareness and discovery so you can make
Yeah.
a future investment in yourself to build a legacy. And when you do that, we have to also work on your self-esteem. Like I said, how many times can we ask somebody on an interview or when you first meet someone, "Oh, what do you do? Oh, what are your strengths? Or what do you like about yourself?" We clam up. We get nervous.
Okay.
Nobody's comfortable about saying the positive things that they want to say. And if they do, then they're either very vocal about and build self-esteem, or what they say is not valid. They say one
Yeah.
thing and their actions show another. And so we deep into that as well. In accordance with the opportunity, I learn how to work with you based on my social work and psychology skills as the tactics. What built your anxiety? What worked? And how can we break it down to layman's terms, to simple baby steps, making this umbrella or big picture of what your ideal life looks like, and what are the small action steps that you take? That's the opportunity at hand. And it's all tailor made to you. I don't dictate. I say, Nadine, what do you want to do? Well, you know what, Andrea, I want to be a public speaker. All right, let's really get really focused on it. What does that look like? What is, Eric Thomas says, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it sound like?
Yeah.
Get all senses involved. Then what we do is the commitment. The
Mhm.
commitment is your choice. I state dreams don't have deadlines.
Yep.
They create destinations. And the beauty of that, Nadine, with me is the commitment.
Yep.
One person said, "Oh, I would love to have a connection with 1 million people." And I said, "Well, really? What's so good about that?" Well, you can get a percentage of individuals of their insights and thoughts and dreams and areas of expertise and advice. Okay. Well, wouldn't it be awesome if you had
Yep.
one individual giving you 100% of themselves, completely invested and have faith and belief in themselves as you do for them as a coach?
Yeah.
That's the commitment. I am here not to judge, dictate, lecture, or tell you what to do. Why? A creator, your highest power, whatever form of belief, doesn't even do that. So who am I
Yeah.
to come in there and judge and ridicule and stigmatize and stereotype and put down? That's not the way I work. So the commitment embodies full support. It embodies developing a rapport, understanding each other as organic and authentic. Because if you're not going to be honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with me, and vice versa. So we have to build a foundation in what the commitment entails, have an
Yeah.
understanding, have an open way of effective communication. And finally, part of the commitment is that I produce results, no excuses.
Good for you.
We figure it out and we work together. If it's not for you right now, fine.
Yeah.
There's no pressure, there's no strings attached. But if you want results, truth holds bars. Anybody you can ask, that's my work ethic, that's my work style, because I want the best for you because I already see
Good. You got me sold. It's like, you got me sold, girl. So, but yeah,
it.
definitely. I mean, I guess the only other question I have fairly quick is
Sure.
where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Better than 5 years and better than I am today. Because if honestly, Nadine, if I said I see myself here at 5 years, I'm setting myself up for something that I have no control over. And that's what we have to realize in life. We have to have patience. We have to understand
Patience. Yeah.
we're not on our own timeline. It's whatever the
Hmm.
universe and your belief system believes. It happens when it's supposed to happen. And that also comes into the good and the not so good, the balance. If I didn't get sick, that was my body waking up saying, you need to focus on you. You're not listening to me. You're not seeing the signs. I'm going to shut you down.
Yeah,
And it's
because
also,
that does happen.
yes, absolutely. And so to see myself in 5 years is just continuously building a legacy of unconditional love, connecting with people, and paying it
Yeah.
forward. That's where I see
Paying
myself.
it forward.
Yes,
I did a
absolutely.
podcast on that. My first season was all just talking on it and everything. And
Oh, wow.
I told the story about what I went through, and it was just an amazing story. I'm not going to give it
Yeah.
away. You guys can look on my list for that one, but
There you go.
um when you're doing good things for other people,
Yes.
and it's been years and years I've been blessed.
Yes.
It could be as little as being at McDonald's or Starbucks. I did one in a grocery store, and this little old lady was checking out. I'll give to this, but she had everything half through, and I go to the lady, stop, not the
The
person,
cashier.
and I go, I'm putting this on my tab. And she
Oh,
goes, you bought half of my stuff. And I go, yeah, God's been good.
yeah.
So, but maybe I will give a little bit away. I'm a
Yeah.
photographer. We're at the aquarium, and I did
Mhm.
this because there was a monkey, literally this. And I leaned over to get the picture, and my brother is like, you missing something. I go, no, I got the monkey.
Right.
Here's your glasses. And I
Oh,
looked down, all the way down. They had fallen at the bottom of the aquarium,
oh my goodness.
and
Wow.
they couldn't find them. I think it was 6 months later. And I had my son and my daughter, and I was out of work, and I went into here, an eye doctor clinic, and they had one of the big stores attached. But I don't know
Right.
how this lady knew. I just went in to see the pricing. I think they said 69 for examination, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And we're walking in the middle of the mall, and this lady comes running out. Hey, I know you don't know me, but God's telling me to help you. Are you a single mom? And I was like, yeah. She goes, give me 1 minute, please don't go away. And I was like, okay. And long story short, my daughter is like, what does she want? And I go, I don't know. It feels like a pay it forward coming really quick. I
Yeah.
go,
Right.
we'll
Ooh, I
see.
just got
We'll
chills.
stay put. She said she bought too many pairs of glasses. She gave me $200, and
Wow.
I went to that eye doctor, but they didn't have anything open. So I went to the other end of the mall, and I was crying, and I go, I got this. And there was a pay it forward. And they
Wow.
took
Yes.
me in, did a whole eye exam.
Oh,
And then
wow.
he goes,
Awesome.
the doctor goes, it's your lucky day because I'm doing your daughter's eye exam, and her glass was free. And I
Wow.
was like,
Oh, I
what?
just
Yeah,
got
I was
chills.
just like,
Yeah. I got
people
chills,
are
girl.
nice in the
Well,
world.
that's what it is. It's the simple gestures. Just as
Yeah,
toxic we can be with hate and anger, think of a
yeah.
better place, not bitter place, if we just random act of kindness. It's simple.
Yes. The world would be so much better. I think we
Yes.
need to create a day. So
Yes.
if you're listening to this the next day, find the person behind you in the drive-through,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely. Even
pick up
as
the
simple as
tab.
a smile. You can't say happy without saying the word smile. Give someone, you know,
Smile.
open the door for them,
Yeah.
and it's just simple and it adds up, believe me.
Yes, it sure
Yes.
does. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming
Yes.
on our show. Your website and your social media stuff. I know I'll
Yes.
be adding that when I get this posted and everything, but did
Sure.
you want to share?
Yes, absolutely. So my website is andreamasons.com because somebody has Andrea Mason, but that's okay. That's plural. So it's more of me to help you. Then I can be all found on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. I have over 1,000 videos plus in YouTube of content that suits anybody and everybody. So feel free to there. And for those listeners and on the playback, and as soon as they watch this, I want to gift you, to pay it forward to you, a complimentary consultation with me connection for 30 minutes, and just type in keep hope alive so I know where you came from.
Oh,
Yes.
hey, I love that.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And
Oh,
my email, by the way, is am.pressplay@yahoo.com. So that's am.pressplay@yahoo.com.
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. You're so
Excellent.
sweet.
Oh,
So guest, I'll put that on there too and
yes.
everything. So, wow, definitely. That's
Yes.
amazing.
All righty.
Well,
Excellent.
really quick, I wanted to also thank our other sponsors who keep Hope alive and
Yes.
going and everything. Um,
Absolutely.
as I mentioned, we have lifeonrecord.com, your interactive guest book. We have Ogden Ventures LLC, Marquise Ogden, and you can find them at www.marquesogden.com. He is a retired right now NFL football player, which is really
Excellent.
cool. That makes me happy.
Yes.
But he's a keynote speaker, best-selling author to Sleepless Nights, The Success Style. And then he has his own podcast too. And I hope I say it right. It's Get Authenticated. I don't know. Authentic. Yeah. Whatever that word is. Yeah. I gotta learn it. Then we have a new, I love this, and I'm going to show this. snap bands, which they are spelled really quick, SNAPPBANDZ. But this bracelet, it
Right.
comes with hope or faith or blessings. You get to choose it. Underneath, it has two magnets, and there's
Wow.
whole science behind it to help people reduce anxiety, stress, depression. It can help with cognitive thinking also. But
Excellent.
please visit their website, and I have a podcast with them too. So we'll be going
Excellent.
over all that. Our next one is bridalshowsinc.com. And if you are having a wedding or a special event in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, they have 5 different trade shows that you could go to, meet with the different vendors, see their showcasing, and probably get pricing or set up that appointment. So check them out. Their next one is the end of January. Wait, that's now, right?
Next week.
That's my birthday. It's the end already. So
Yes. Like that.
yeah, so yeah, I forgot. I was going to that. It's actually Saturday and Sunday, the bridal show. So check them out at Dallas Market Hall.
Excellent.
So our next one is milesandSmilesEvents.com. Miss Deborah Rose, her background, she's an investigator, but she goes into events and she does handwriting analysis and lipstick readings, and she's
Oh, wow.
100% accurate. Yeah, I've seen
Excellent.
her in action, and people's mouths just drop open. They can't believe how accurate she is. So our next one is Bryce Harney. You can find him at www.brycemagic.com. That gives it away, right? He's a magician and mind mentalist. He's been on TV quite a lot for his work, but I think he's traveling around the United States doing different shows right now. So
Excellent.
um, check him out, definitely. Our next one is richmondpunch.net. Richmond graduated from the Juilliards. He's a violinist. He's been doing it
Wow.
way over 30 years. I think he had 2 lifetime shows in the background doing the violin and everything for those shows.
Excellent.
And then also he's performed in front of a million people, I think it was, for a
Mm.
funeral televised.
Wow.
But
Interesting.
I don't know, I don't remember who passed on, but yeah, he's a violinist there. So if you need a good violinist, check him out. Our
Excellent.
last one I like because
Mhm.
it's TK Hair Salon. They help me cover all my grays that
Awesome.
I'm
Silver
getting.
linings.
Yes, the silver lining, and maybe I should just
Yes.
go all gray, who knows? But if you are in Plano, Texas, or visiting Texas and want to come to Plano, check them out. Got women, men haircuts, children haircuts, party updos for the women, and I'm sure they can do something with the guys and
Right.
everything,
Yes.
and facials. So check them out at tkhairsalon.com. But like I said earlier, wherever you find your podcast, you will be able to find Keep Hope Alive. We are about to go into Valentine's Day. So I want to hear from people. You can call 833-780-HOPE if you have any questions for our guests today, or even me. uh, your story needs to be heard. It may be on one of our podcasts too, which would be great. We would love to hear from you. But I want to say thank you for coming out, and make sure you guys subscribe on www.keephopealivepodcast.com. But yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for
Yes.
coming. You were
Thank
great.
you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you for the gift that you're giving the people
Yes.
watching, and
Yes.
we will spread the word. Until
Excellent.
next time, guys, love and light. Bye bye.